Hi everybody, Wes York back again. Congratulations on downloading my first 3 chapters of my book. Now I've got something really special for you now. I've got a jam-packed video which is going to teach you the fundamentals of selling. See, a lot of people don't understand that selling is a process, and the process is really easy once you know it. So in this first part of this video, it's going to teach you the psychology of the selling. It's going to teach you why people sell and why people purchase. And it's also going to teach you, some fundamental mistakes that salespeople make. So this short video is jam-packed full of information, and I've done this because I want to make sure that your profits soar. I've done this, I'm doing it for free because of the fact that I want to make sure you become a better salesperson and you become the leader in your field. So guys and girls, enjoy this free video. It goes for about half an hour. Make sure you take your notes. You're gonna love it, and thanks for watching.
So it is my absolute pleasure and an honour for all of us to welcome to the stage, if everyone can be on their feet standing, for Mr. Wes York.
How are we all doing this morning? I know it's early. Come on, how are we doing? Wow. Well, that's a fair introduction, isn't it? I better live up to that. On that slide it says that at the age of 30 I was made redundant. So I'm going to say I'm 37, so in 7 years I've been able to pretty much transform my life through a lot of hard work, dedication. But I was able to take the information that I learnt before I was made redundant in the corporate world and before I decided to open my own organisations, to get where I am here today. The thing is, today's not about me. Today's about giving information so you guys can leave here today and enhance your own businesses or help the employment that you're in at the moment, and to make sure that you can put more money back in your own pocket. So that's what I'm here about today. As I go through, I'm going to share a few stories about myself and some personal stories. Just to give you an idea of some of the things I had to go through to get where I am today. But first of all, I want to tell you a story about a lady who I met last year. And she was in a bit of a tough situation, and she was employed, and she came to see me. She said, "Wes, I want some personal coaching, but I also want some coaching on sales and negotiating skills." So I said, okay, I can do that. So we sat down over a coffee and we sort of put a bit of a game plan together over about a 6-week period to get her up and running. But the first thing on her list was that she wanted a pay rise. I was like, okay, fair enough. I said, tell me a little bit about your situation, where you're working, what you're doing, how long you've been there, etc. So she said that she'd been working there for 7 weeks. Yeah, I hear the laugh in the crowd there. Who in here is self-employed? Okay, a few of you. Who in here who is self-employed actually also hire staff and have staff, employ some staff? Fantastic. Now here's a question though to all of us. If you've been working in an employment for 7 weeks and you went into your boss and asked for a pay rise, what do you reckon he's going to say? Do you reckon you're going to get much? So I said, okay, all right. I said, tell me a little bit more. I said, okay, how much are you earning at the moment? And she says, I'm on $75,000 base. Yeah, I'm like, all right, so you're on a fair wicket to start with. I said, how does that relate for the position that you were doing? And she says, it's a little bit above the award wage for what her expertise were at. I said, okay. And I said, have you actually, in the 7 weeks, have you brought something into this organisation that has just wowed your boss? She's like, kinda, not really. I said, all right, I've got a bit to work with here. And being in sales, I don't really get lost for words too often, but this next bit did. I said, okay, how much do you want? In this pay rise, how much physical cash do you want in your pocket each year? I said, I want $130,000. So as I sort of picked up my jaw off the ground, my little mind started ticking over. Wow, what a challenge. Let's give this a crack and see where we can end up. So I said to Paula, I said, you know, I can't guarantee you're going to get $130,000. I can't guarantee a $55,000 increase or a 66% increase in your pay. I said, but I can guarantee I can get you some sort of pay rise. So we sat down, and it took us about 2 weeks. It took about 2 sessions, so about 3 hours. And I taught her some sales skills. I taught her some negotiating skills. I even went to the extent where I taught her how to set up the meeting with the boss, so the boss didn't feel like it was just a general morning catch-up meeting. We did role plays, and I taught her, and maybe I'll get time later, I taught her one of the closes which I call the illusionist close. So anyway, on the way in that morning, we jumped on the phone, we did another role play on the phone, and part of the strategy was that we weren't going to get an answer that day, we were going to wait overnight to get an answer from her boss. So anyway, she went and she executed perfectly with the strategy that we wanted, and she rang me up, she goes, Wes, I think I did a pretty good job. I said, well, time will tell tomorrow to see how well we actually went. So anyway, the next day she has the meeting with her boss, and she rang me up and she said, Wes, he's given me a $15,000 pay rise. So that takes it to $90,000. I thought, yeah, that's not too bad. It's a 20% increase, 7 weeks. Getting paid above the award wage to start with. Haven't really done a great deal since you've been there. I'm pretty happy with that. And something sort of clicked. I said, no, I think there's a little bit more money there. So I said, you know what? Go back in and ask for $5,000 for travel allowance, because you drive a fair bit, and phone allowance. So you can have the 15 grand in your pay each week, and the $5,000 can go towards your phone and all your fuel that you're paying for. So she went in there, 10 minutes later, she rang me back, she goes, Wes, I got it. So within about 3 hours of training Paula, we finished up with a 26% increase in a wage. And I thought, that's a fair outcome. And that's her little testimonial there. But the reason why I tell you this story isn't because of what we taught and what I taught Paula. It's what I want to try and get across to you guys today. I'm not here about hard sales. I'm not here, I get a lot of people say, how do you close this sale? How do you do that? And I can kind of teach that, but you've got to do it from the start. So I'm here to teach you some great, I'm not going to call them strategies or techniques because I think people understand that, but I'm going to give you guidance on actually then how to sell yourself. Because sales is a lot more than just selling a service or a product. It's way more than that. So that's my outcome over the next 90 or so minutes, to try and get across to everyone in the audience here, and you leave with you guys today, that you're going to be able to take away and implement in your life tomorrow. How does that sound? Who in here is, let me just ask, who in here is actually in sales? Thank you very much. This is the first crowd, because you've been taught this before, who've actually all put their hand up. And the reason why I say that is everything you do in life you're selling. Is that correct? You're selling yourself. Even if you go for a new job, you need a resume, you're selling yourself on paper. And I even teach to the extent, even when you go and buy a car. Who's bought a car here lately? I love buying cars. But aren't you selling the salesperson why you should have the car cheaper? Oh, broke, or you compare against another car to try and get the price down. That's just negotiating. And the better you understand those techniques, the more money you can actually save. And then when you add that up over your life, it's quite a substantial amount. So that's what I want to try and teach you today. Alright, well, let's get into it. So this is what we're going to look at. We are going to look at the psychology of the sale. We're going to look at how people buy, the dominant buying motive, how to agitate the problem, how to ask for the commitment, and I've got here the last one, which is for life. How to retain clients for life. whether you're in Isogenics or whether you're in any other organisation, how to retain your client for life. Because when you have your client, it's so much cheaper to maintain that client and try and get new clients in. Okay, so the psychology of the sale. These are the 2 points which we need to remember in every, I'm going to call it sales engagement. However, when I use the word sales here, it's not necessarily exchange of money. Now let me explain this a bit further. These are the 2 outcomes we're always looking for. We're there to make a sale, or we're there to learn. Now let me use the example of a telemarketer who maybe is just an appointment setter. So his goal for the day might be to make 10 appointments. There's no actual physical money exchange. But if he hits his 10 for the day, in my terminology, he's made his 10 sales, he's made his target for the day. Does everyone get that? Yeah. So when I use the word sale, I need to use it over a broad range. So if you're the Isogenics crowd here, it might be, your week's goal might be to help, 5 people into the Isogenics family to help them with their life and their health. Does that make sense? Okay, but this second point, which is the most important, most people don't learn from their sales experiences. How often do you meet someone or you're in a sales engagement and you don't sign that person up, or that person doesn't come on board with you, and once that happens, you don't go back and reflect the process that you did. It's funny, I was coaching an organisation on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I was speaking to one of their top sales consultants. And he had a client and he didn't make the sale. And I said, so what happened there? He was a dickhead. I'm like, hold the phone for a second. Let's explain this a bit further. He's a dickhead, Wes. I'm like, no, come on. They don't holiday. They don't do this. They don't do that. And he started making up a million excuses of why these people didn't purchase. And I said, okay, well, did you ask them at the start if they were enjoying their holiday that they're on at the moment? Because they're already on holidays. He goes, yeah. I said, did you listen? No. I said, were their children having a great time on holidays? I didn't ask that question. No. So we went for about half an hour and I started to coach him through, and at the end he goes, you know what, you're right, Wes. I didn't do the process right. I said, right, so who's the dickhead? But this is the fundamental mistake where typical salespeople go wrong because they think they know it all and they're not willing to take criticism and learn. But this is also where people who don't know the fundamentals of selling as well, they don't understand where they can fix up their mistakes and then be better. So today, what I'm teaching is it's probably level 2 out of the level 5. So when we leave today, you're going to know the fundamentals of where everything's going to go. When we go now and we meet people and try and help them into the Isogenics family, who reflects on the process they did on a daily, weekly basis? Put your hand up. Awesome. So about half the group. So as of today, we're going to be able to reflect as 100% of the group, right? Right? Okay, cool. Alright, this is, as we go through time, I'm going to get people up on stage. Is that okay? Because it gets lonely up here. Alright, so this is, who's heard this statement before? That people buy on emotion and justify with logic. Who's heard that before? Awesome. Does everyone understand it? I've got a lot of no's there. So I'm going to first of all today teach this. So people buy on emotion and justify it with logic. And let me just, I'll explain this. Who wants to come up and help me? Who's got neat handwriting to start with? That's the little prerequisite. Can you come and help me? Come on up. Yeah! What's your name? Mandy, how are you going on, Wes? Pleased to meet you. Do you need a pen? Any colour, doesn't matter. And can you just put logic and then a line and emotion? I was telling Alan before that I did my first round of Isogenics in 2008. Long time ago. And I was 100 kegs, and I got down to 82. I jumped on the scales and I had the 3 digits, and I said to my wife Jen, I said, you know what, this is going to change. Alright, logic and emotion. So this is what I need help from everyone here. We need to list all the logical reasons why someone's going to become involved in the Isogenics family. So I need people to start yelling out, what logical things would the reason why someone would buy or purchase or become part of the family with Isogenics? Health. Just hold on a second. Can you hold that? Cool. Health. Can you put that in emotion? That's right, that's fine. That's cool. Emotion. Health over here. Someone said cash down here. Can you explain that just a touch more? So there's for money. Okay, so to make money, yes, that's logic. Yes, can you please put that down? What else? The system works. That there is logic. Yes. What else? Value. Value for money. Value for money. I'm just coming down the crowd so I get it. Value for money. Can you explain that just a touch further? Okay, value for money, yes, logic. What else? What else is logical? No, they're still on the logic. No, that's emotion. Success stories on emotion, please. Convenience. Depends on how you pitch that. I'm going to say that's emotion. I can pitch that emotion. Up the back there.
Stress and anxiety.
Stress and anxiety. Can we put that on emotion, please? You got me and on. That's great. What else? We're talking about the logical reasons. Let me give you some help here. What about, logically would be, let's look at the presents pack. Yeah? All the individual elements of the presents pack would be logical. So you can just put the individual products. Yep.
Money back guarantee.
Money back guarantee, yes, logic. What's that? I'm going to use that as ingredients. Would that be fair enough? Okay, so yes, ingredients is definitely logic, yes.
Convenience?
Convenience. That's emotion. I'll fix that as emotion. We're still on logic though. See when we start yelling out answers here, the definitions of the logic and emotion are quite mixed up. And when we go through and we present our products or service or whatever we're selling, we need to have clear definitions of the emotional and logical part. Because people don't purchase a presents pack because of the fact that they're going to spend the money anyway. They're going to spend the money on food. They're not going to buy because of that. Does that make sense? However, a lot of times, even with the sales and organisations, people want to just really hit home of what, the product has the scientific reasons why the product works, or the fact that it's got great savings. But that's not the real reason why someone's going to make a lifestyle change. Say that again? Visually, yeah, that's exactly right. They need to see photos and things like that, absolutely. Okay, let's look at any more on the logic. I think we're pretty much exhausted. I think everyone's racking their brain. Okay, let's look at the emotion. What are some emotional reasons why someone would purchase the present pack? Say it again. Peer pressure. That is a very good one. Say it again. To run around with the kids for fitness, for health. Yes, to run around with the kids, fantastic.
Value for money.
Value for money. Let's just stop on value for money. That's all. That's on the logic there. Cost effective, value for money, we'll use that the same. Which one was that, sorry? It's already up there. It's already up there. They sleep better. They can live longer. Lifestyle. Hey! Get more sex. Because they look better. They've got more confidence. Say that again. They fit into a dress. You know it?
Weight loss.
Weight loss. Confidence, thank you. Okay, see now, it's really easy to come up with this. But my question here is, how often do we start talking to our clients too much on the logical side? But then let's take it to the next step. When we are talking about the emotions, are we talking about their emotions? Not necessarily. You know, it's easy to talk about success stories, and you do need testimonials, and you do need to talk about other people. However, are we talking about the right testimonials that are going to help your future client? It's always about them. What's in it for me? However, if we don't understand, and if we don't sit down and write out and practice our presentation to help our clients out, then this gets all jumbled up. And then we're actually doing a disservice for the people that we're talking about, because we're not transferring the information well enough. Does that make sense? So when we look at this list up here, how often are we confusing issues? Heaps, aren't we? So tonight, when you get home, because obviously we've talked to a lot of people and tried to help a lot of people into Isagenix, you need to write out what you're going to say to your people and be prepared. So if you get anything out of today, that's the number one thing. Be prepared when you see your people. Nice sex, I like that. Mandy, thank you so much. Give Mandy a round of applause, please. All right, this is the fun one. What's your name, sir? Yeah, Ryan. So Ryan mentioned the more sex. You married? Who can help him out? Hey, that's up to you. Alrighty. So this graph behind me here, every product, every service has a buying pattern. Doesn't matter whether it's Isagenix, it doesn't matter whether it's McDonald's, Coca-Cola, it doesn't make a difference whether it's a prestigious car. There is a buying pattern for everything. And you need to make sure you follow that buying pattern. Because if you don't, you're not going to get the results that you're after. So let me use this as an example, and I'm going to use this as an example. Who's married in here? What's your name, man? Say? Vienne? I'm going to use Vienne here as before she got married, up until when she got married. And I'm going to use, see how the top line there, or the second top line has got the buying line? Everyone see that? I'm going to use that as when Vienne was proposed to. So I'm going to use this as an example, which is not even a selling example, to give you a gauge of how important this process is. Does that make sense? Cool. So, step one, what do you reckon step one would be? Before you've even met. Yeah, just looking. So, and this is the preparation in your head when you're trying to work out your strategies and your goals. So, for example, Vienne or Vienne's husband's name might, they might have started going out a little bit more. When Vienne's girlfriends rang her up and said, come on, let's go out, instead of her saying no, she'd say, you know what, let's go, I wouldn't mind meeting a partner. So you start to get active and you're actively looking. What's step 2? They meet. They might meet at a conference, they might meet, it doesn't matter where they meet, but there might be 15 minutes, half an hour, but they see a connection. So for the Isogenics example, that's when you obviously first meet your client, you sit down and have a coffee. Or a tea. Or an e-shot. I had one before too. Alright, so you've just met each other, but you feel a connection. What's step 3? You're starting to build the relationship, you start to go on a first date and a second date, etc. Now remember with the buying pattern here, depending on what is being sold or purchased, the length can change quite dramatically. Sometimes the buying pattern for example, large machinery in the mining can take a year to process. Or sometimes, this buying pattern can be within 30 seconds. So Vienna started to date her husband. What's step 4? Come on, Ryan, what's step 4? The romance and the fun! The test drive! Yeah, righto. The fun part! Sorry. Step 5, where are we at step 5? What are we doing in step 5? Not yet. Because remember, step 6 is the purchase. What's step 5? So step 5 in this example would be they start maybe living together. They start to find out what they like and dislike about each other. Try before you buy. With the Isogenics, this is where you are, they're talking about their problems and you're starting to talk about the product and things like that. However, we get to step 6, man, this is the big moment. Your husband's sweating bullets. The thing is with step 6, what usually happens, what does the guy usually do just before they propose to their lovely? What was that? Back off! They talk about it, they ask them, but then they will do something like they'll take you on a beautiful holiday. Or they'll set up a real romantic dinner. They'll butter them up, they write in the sand, I love you forever and all that stuff. Yeah, they draw on the emotions. So when it's hot, ready to go, he does the old, will you? What's the answer going to be? Of course it's going to be yes. Because their emotional state is up here. But then we get to step 7, and what happens in step 7 here? A go standard money back guarantee. That's right. But see how it drops a little bit? Because everyone gets buyer's remorse. Because then starts to think, you know what? That's the last dinner I'm going to get like that. But what you want to make sure is that the steps previously have been done well enough that the buyer's remorse doesn't drop under the buying line. Because then that leads into step 8, which isn't even on the graph, which is the for life part. Because if the end's husband asks her to marry her on step 3, he might get a yes, but the for life is going to be very difficult. Or, if you ask your client too late to purchase, they've already dropped back under that buying line, so you get a no. See, the fundamentals of selling is you need to understand your process. You need to understand the steps, and the process is designed for the maximum result. And this is what I train on a lot, because it's not about that hard close at the end. It's not about that. It's about the relationships that you build on the way And there are definite significant steps that you need to follow. So therefore, when you ask someone to join the family or to purchase the car or even for their life, the answer is always going to be yes. Does that make sense? So when I ask that question here, who in here knows their process that they need to do? Put your hand up. Not many. So hopefully what I'm getting here is, you know what? When I leave here today, I've got a bit of work to do. When I leave here today, I'm going to be able to put a few of these steps in place and help out a lot of people. Can we all commit to that? Yeah. Awesome.